A Bull by Rob Harper, Part 3.
We'd been back at the Bull for a week, and everything was quiet, or as quiet as the Bull got, which really wasn't all that quiet. I should mention that when we weren't going out and robbing the largest jewelry exchange in the network, we actually worked at the bar. Marcus said it was to keep up appearances and all that, but personally I think he just didn't want to pay for a real staff. So there I was at the bar, trying my damnedest not to actually work. Lacey and Danny were on bar and busy as all hell, so they weren't paying any attention to me. John was DJing, which usually would allow him to talk to me for a bit, but unfortunately the bar that night was so packed, with rich kids, out for a bit of slumming, and all they wanted to hear was pop music. Needless to say, John wasn't in the best of moods. He spent most of the night telling people making requests to fuck off, and alternately banging his head off the wall and getting very, very drunk. Angus was out in the bar somewhere trying to keep order, with his own brand of justice, namely a baseball bat. Luckily, Jesus walked in. Jesus was the sort of guy that was always in the bar, yet rarely drank. He had actually worked at the Bull for about an hour, but then he got in a disagreement with Marcus and promptly became a regular again. Jesus and I became close friends, and we tended to talk either very deeply and philosophically, or acted like two-year-olds together, much to the pain of Danny and Lacey, who were our usual targets of infantile humor. Jesus walked up and we began a long night of talking, and sometimes I would actually pretend to work.
So, what's new?
Jesus obviously knew about the heist from someone, by the look on his face, but didn't care enough to actually ask about it directly. Nothing much, and you? I smirked to tell him I knew he knew.
Did you hear about that jewel heist over in the 20th Century Zone? It's the largest robbery in the network history, I hear.
We made the record books my first time out. Not bad.
Yep, that sure was big. Funny thing, though. It seems Minitru has taken over the case. That's not usual operating procedure. Wonder why that is.
Yeah, I wondered too. Minitru, or the Ministry of Truth, is the strong arm of the government, and they make the UDF look like a bunch of Girl Scouts. We might be in over our heads a bit. Why would Minitru be interested in some jewels? Right then I saw Angus and Dave, the large thrall bouncer, grab one of the more obnoxious rich kids, who was trying to cause trouble. The two started to drag the kid towards the back of the bar, and the alley beyond, and I knew what was about to happen. Jesus and I rushed after the group, and after wading through the sea of humanity, arrived just in time to see Angus finishing off the annoying youth with his trusty bat. You may think that I tried to stop Angus, or that Angus would get in trouble from the UDF for killing a patron. But in truth, the kids were really annoying, and the UDF is easily bribed. Jesus and I did a tour of the outdoor patio and continued our conversation. What were you talking about? Oh yeah, Minitru. What the fuck's up with that?
People are saying that maybe it wasn't jewels that were stolen. Maybe someone was using the jewel depository as a safe house for something bigger.
They were jewels. I saw them. Weird. Well, anyways, I'm sure everything will work out.
I hope so. Anyway, I was thinking about what we were talking about last time. You know, about getting the network back to its rightful times. What I was thinking was, why does everyone want to go back so bad? I mean, sure, the network is big and dangerous, and the government wants to wipe out most of the population. But at least it's interesting. I'm sure the regular world is boring as crap.
That's true. Especially considering what would happen if the network did go back. Imagine all the trouble we would cause. A city disappearing out of the blue is one thing, but it reappearing with proof of alien life forms, magic, and strange wildlife would cause chaos in whichever time it went back to. We discussed back and forth the ramifications of going back, as it is affectionately called. It's weird here. Everyone wants to return to their rightful times, even though most of us wouldn't stand a chance of leading normal lives there ever again. Even me, who was born in the network, had an urge to go back. Maybe this natural yearning for the universe to try and fix what went wrong here. Too deep for me, and it was closing time anyway. Jesus helped us usher the patrons out of the bar, and we were about to start our nightly after-work drink fest.
Into my office, now!
Maybe he was actually going to get pissed about me not doing anything. Well, in a perfect world, I wish I would have gotten off that easily. See you around, Jesus. If I still work here.
I'm sure it'll be fine. Later, man.
I entered the reasonably nice office of the boss. In the office was Marcus, of course, Danny, and one other guy, who I learned later was named Drew. I sat on the leather couch which, when Marcus wasn't there, and Danny was doing office work, I many times used as a bed, and waited to see what was up. There was a lurch in my stomach, which wasn't the Bull's cooking, as Marcus explained why he had called me in.
Okay, I think you're ready for this. You, Drew, and Danny are going to go meet up with one of the largest fences in the network to sell the jewels.
My stomach lurched again. Danny transferred the jewels into a carrying case that was then attached to Drew's arm. I was to be the muscle, just in case. I definitely had a bad feeling about this. So bad, in fact, I forgot to mention about Minitru's involvement. Oh well, looking back, I'm sure he knew. He just didn't care. He wasn't the one to enter the mouth of the lion. We were.
Part 4.
As we entered the large casino that was the front for the fence who we were trying to contact, I almost forgot we were inches from death. Either from the fence, and his gang, who'd probably kill us for the gems, or a mini-troop, who for some reason also wanted what we were selling, but didn't want to pay for it. We were pretty screwed.
Be cool.
The casino was huge, and I would have been lost, but Drew seemed to know the way. Marcus had probably dealt with these people before. That eased some of my trepidation.
Stay here.
He motioned for us to stay near the elevators, while he went up to the offices for the fence. And there we stood. Well, this is more boring than I expected.
Great. Now you've cursed us. We're screwed now.
I couldn't really tell if she was joking. After about half an hour had passed, we were still standing there. The lights and the noise of the casino were giving me a headache, and I looked up to the skylights, 2 stories up to try and take my mind off the racket. A strange light was coming from one of the skylights, and it caught my attention. It was a thin red beam, and didn't seem to be coming from inside the casino. Then it hit me. Laser sight. Ah shit! Danny, get down!
What?
I grabbed Danny and took cover behind some slot machines as all hell broke loose. A large explosion blew the skylights in and glass rained down on the now chaotic casino floor. Maybe it was a heist. Yeah, and maybe we're the type of people that good things happen to. Neither was true as black UDF troops started rappelling in the skylights. They rushed in, every door firing wildly. Black troops were never known for their subtlety.
Let's get the hell out of here. We have to find Drew.
Danny and I rushed to the elevator and headed upstairs to try and meet up with Drew. Not like that would help any, but it was better than waiting to be shot on the casino floor. As we exited the elevator, there was even more chaos up there, as the casino's security force was fighting back against UDF troops. The casino force looked like it would break soon, so we hoofed it the other way and ducked around the nearest corner. We ran smack into Drew.
Let's take the elevator and see if we can't find a way out of here.
None of us were under any illusions that these guys weren't after us. Mini-True had sent its leg breakers, and we were ridiculously outnumbered. We ducked back into the elevator and started back towards terra firma. The lift stopped at the mezzanine, and as the door started to open, the small compartment was sprayed with gunfire. Danny hit the door close button before any of us were wounded, and the elevator started down again.
Fuck, that was close.
Once again, the doors opened, and we expected to be shot, but this time there was no bark of automatic weapons, and we ran out into the sub-basement hallway. One of the signs on the wall points us towards a loading dock, and we start to sprint to freedom. Once again we barrel around a corner, and once again we smack into someone. Unfortunately, this time it has a black uniform and a submachine gun pointed at my chest. It's funny how sometimes your body will react without your mind having a clue what the fuck he's doing. This was one of those cases. In my mind I repeated, "Oh fuck, I'm gonna die," over and over again, while my body disarmed the UDFer and spun him around and used his body as a shield as the rest of his comrades opened up on us. Danny grabbed the now black dead troop's gun and started to return fire. As battles go, this wasn't the most impressive. I fell backwards with the force of numerous bullets riddling the man I held, as Danny picked off each of the enemy with amazing skill. By the time I had pushed the dead body off me, the firing had stopped, and Danny was taking some weapons off the dead.
Take this. We gotta get back to the bull.
She threw me one submachine gun, and I started to pass it on to Drew, who I assumed was behind me. He was behind me all right. Unfortunately, he was also rather dead. I didn't really know the guy, but still, it wasn't a good feeling to see someone whom you call at very least a comrade dead at your feet.
Come on, let's go. He's dead. Just leave him.
Danny pulled me away from Drew's body towards the exit and salvation. We left the gems on him. It would take too long to get the case off his arm, and maybe the damn mini-true would leave us alone if they got them. I heard more black troops running up the hallway as we burst out of that hell pit into the network streets. We made our way back to the Bull, in safety, or so we thought.
To be continued.
$8,000.
Is that how much you paid for that fine shirt you're wearing, Robert?
No, that's the take. This is take 8,000. We've done this many takes for these ads.
That still doesn't describe why you're wearing such a fantastic bit of apparel there, Rob. Where did you get that t-shirt?
It's cafepress.com/Vinland Old Time Radio. But that's beside the point. What I'm trying to say is we've recorded way too many of these ads.
That isn't beside the point. That's the very point indeed. We are making an ad for Vinland Old Time Radio's apparel shop. Little gnomes, stitching vigorously, creating all kinds of fantastic things. Wonderful things. Things that you should buy.
It's not just apparel, you know.
The what?
They have, like, thermoses and mugs and glasses and snuggies. Do you want a Snuggie with Finland Old Time Radio on it?
Do I? I do.
Yeah, well, we know.
And again, where would I find said Snuggie?
cafepress.com/Vinland Old Time Radio. It's the best of every world.
And if people did truly love us, or at least cared a little bit for what we do for them, they too would purchase a Snuggie. No one cares.
Oh, I definitely don't care.
Certainly. But the least they could do is purchase a mug.
But now they know where to purchase the mugs at cafepress.com/Vinland Old Time Radio. Maybe they just didn't know before.
Where is that again, Rob?
It's at the cafepress.com/Vinland Old Time Radio.
Again?
cafepress.com/Vinland Old Time Radio.
I got it that time.